Yeah, so I'm James Drinkall. I've been working for Rotherham with Mick Powell for the last 3 years or so. Um, and our presentation is about what we did with the TSOG grant that we was lucky to win. Rotherham is a small town with big ambitions. We're located in South Yorkshire, sandwiched between the city of Sheffield to the west and Doncaster to the east, with Barnsley, my town, to the north. Get that, mate? Barnsley's even above Rotherham on a map as well as League One table there. In autumn, for those who don't know, in autumn of 2023, the UK government announced its plans for drivers, and the Department for Transport invited local authorities to bid for a share of £20 million worth of additional capital funding called the Traffic Signal Obsolescence Grant. Our presentation will cover how we approached the bid, our vision and objectives, how the funding was assigned, project delivery, the benefits, and our aspirations for the future. So the bid itself was a collaboration with some external consultant support to assist drafting the bid documents. We drew on their experience and extensive experience to add value and quality to our bid. We'd like to extend a huge thanks to Mark Roberts and Andy Knowles for their help with that. The key elements, so we focused on the assets along the nationally strategic route A631, incorporating improved infrastructure to support the application and development of new and emerging technologies. We set ourselves an ambitious 6-month rolling programme for this as well. We were lucky enough to be awarded the full 500,000 as a result of our bid, along with a further allocation of around 96,000 from the South Yorkshire Mayoral Combined Authority. We committed all of the money to be used on the actual equipment on the street rather than design consultancy fees, as we managed to keep all the design in-house. We were already working up an asset renewal programme funded by RMBC's capital for delivery in 2024-2025. Additional TSOG funds would enable us to expand the scope of our programme and sites to upgrade, some of which were coincidentally located along the defined route, while also releasing previously allocated capital to help us deliver more benefits across the wider borough as part of an extended delivery programme. As soon as our bid was submitted, we started speaking with SWACO. They were actively involved in the planning and development of the works programme from an early stage. They gave their input and advice on all aspects of the project, including resources, costs, and delivery timescales, resulting from the significantly increased volume of activity and orders to be realised from a successful bid. We set up an ambitious programme to upgrade 24 sites altogether, 14 sites along the A631, 9 to be funded by a Traffic Signal Obsolescence Grant, and the rest funded by RMBC capital. The A631 programme would run for 6 months with a completion date of November 2024. RMBC's preferred method of control is mover. We're still working to rebuild our TMS with a view of looking at new technologies such as Scoot 8 or Inflow or similar technologies. Investing in the new traffic signal infrastructure to make our asset ready for the future was a key driver for us and a focus of our ambitions for the borough. We were keen to try out new to the market technologies, and after consulting suppliers and others in the industry, we opted to use the FLIR Traffic Arm AI along the A631. This was for a number of reasons. The detection zones seem really accurate at long distance for the mover in loops. Each vehicle is proven to be detected even when travelling in platoons of vehicles. The cameras will provide us with a full view of the corridor and will, once the communications are re-established, provide us with remote access to them. We will also be able to access count data, and the equipment can differentiate between vehicles and can therefore be used for bus priority. Where we have bus gates in the borough, we have used AGD 650 stop line detectors. These have been well received by the bus companies and have helped deter abuse of the bus gates. We also use AGD 650s for cycle detection as well. We use AGD on crossing detectors and pedestrian heads. We have trialled other detectors and are keen to keep on doing so. Our existing wireless communications network was obsolete and needed to be replaced. Communications technology is a fundamental component of the overall system, critical to ensure optimum performance and management of both traffic signals and the road network. We have all the sites on the A631 corridor on either 4G, 5G, wireless or RMBC's own fibre network. Considering our ambitions to future-proof the asset for connected and autonomous vehicles, technology and monitoring, upgrading the redundant and obsolete communications technology was identified as a vital element of all the sites to be upgraded using TSOG. As mentioned earlier, we initiated a challenging rolling programme. SWACO's early engagement was essential so we could carry out duct surveys, engage traffic management companies and work with RMBC's highways to ensure permits were in place when needed. We also secured resources from SWACO to work continuously in Rotherham on our upgrades programme. These conversations also meant that we could order equipment before any contractual price rises, which saved us a few quid, thankfully. So I'm going to show you now a couple of examples of the sites that we've upgraded. This is some drone footage that we got from Clearview, Pete Cattell at Clearview. So this is Morrison's at Bramley, which is close to the M18 Junction 1. It's T junction, obviously, as you can see, with a right turn. And then further as we zoom out, you'll see that there's a staggered ped to the left, which in the past caused issues. But now we've got this running mover. It's a lot more, it flows a lot better. Yeah. This is Wickersley Roundabout. So we upgraded 3 sites here, 2 crossings, 1 staggered dual and a bus gate crossing. The demographic of the people in this area is slightly towards the older end. There's a bit of a medical centre, shops, and some restaurants and pubs down there. So, you know, these kind of people, they like to complain a lot because they've got nothing better to do. So, so we had to keep them happy at that point. But honestly, the amount of people that come up to you and say, "Do you work for council, love? When are you going to get this finished?" This one is West Bawtry Road, Long Lane. This one was a difficult one. We just had a fatality here further down the road at this point, so it was quite a main focus. So we had to work really well with the authorities and RMBC highways to make sure that the traffic management plans in place were such that they were accurate for the speed of the road, which included using impact protection vehicles and taking lanes out and lowering the speed limit whilst the works were ongoing. Lost my page now. Where's my summary gone? Here we go. Summary. Well, we fulfilled our objectives and commissioned the last TSOG funded upgrade on the 29th of November 2024. We brought the project in on budget despite a few unforeseen and costly challenges, such as having to replace collapsed carriageway ducts, increase traffic management costs for some sites, public safety, and acquiring road space permits for the strategically important A631 corridor. But now we have the entire corridor where each site is fitted with extra low voltage, low energy, low carbon LED signals, each controlled using more dynamic and efficient mover system. We're now considering Rotherham to be a blank canvas for testing new technologies and methods of control. Lessons learned. that picture gets sent to me every time it does the rounds on Facebook. They're all like, "Did you put this sign up?" And it reads, "Hey up, went red light shows odd the horse," which basically means just stop, went red lights on. So the lessons that we did learn then, we did have some concerns over the new technology. Would it be accurate, especially at long distances? There were also issues with setting up the detection. It was a little more complicated than first thought. However, a call to Fleur and a visit from Suckdev and Nico helped us know, and they gave us the confidence that we had made a good choice. And similarly, Kieran and Dean from AGD made the trip to Rotherham to help us with the AGD 650 and the AGD 318, which we have deployed in a couple of sites as well. On the balance of things, and although we looked at costs for each site beforehand, including TM, we could have engaged our MBC's highways team at the same time as we did Swarco. It was only later that we realised that we could only get permits for night working on some sites, and of course the use of impact protection vehicles on the high-speed roads. We had overestimated on some sites, but got caught out on others. Everything worked out though, thankfully, and there you go. Because of these issues and tight deadlines, we had to move things around in the programme. In hindsight, we could have stretched the programme to run longer, but we didn't know what would happen with the change of government and the authority cuts, meaning we might have lost staff. Luckily we didn't, because I'm still here. I'll do. I ain't done yet. There's more. Don't start doing. Not many more though, so don't worry too much. It benefits, and as traffic signal engineers, we are often found guilty of failing to promote or broadcast our achievements. We have tried to shout as much as we can to whomever will listen about what we have achieved with this project. And some of the benefits are that from our in-track system, asset management system, and some help from Peter Routledge, we found that we've saved £11,500 in energy costs per year along that corridor, which, to be fair, it don't really matter because British Gas will just cramp price up next year anyway. So, and then we also found a reduction in carbon production by nearly 9,500 kilograms. I should have probably have changed that to tons, but it was late when I finished this, and then my head wouldn't work. So 9,500 sounds better anyway. There you go. At the time of writing, we have seen a 4% improvement in journey times along the corridor, even before fully validating mover. This 4% journey time saving was something we hadn't even anticipated would be a benefit of TSOG. This was proven independently when Paul Hutton from Highways News did some investigative journalism and asked INRIX to review before and after data. So I think like a 4% journey time was quite impressive to say that all we did was swap out old for new. The monetary value of this benefit will be calculated when we've validated everything. And of course, less stop-starts means lower emissions. Last one, promise. No, two more. So special mentions, obviously Darren and all at DFT for producing a pot of gold. Suckdev and Nico Fleur for all their help, Carl Stevenson and Carl Bosworth at Swarco for their getting on board with what we had planned, Peter and Ralph from Clearview for helping us out with the drone survey stuff and other bits, Kieran and Dean from AGD, and Paul from Now Wireless. And then, so have we inspired the future? I mean, one of my favourite pictures from this whole project, and it's been shared quite a bit, is of Mick and his granddaughter. We commissioned a site not far from where he lives, and Mick wanted his granddaughter to be the first to use it, which I think is pretty cool. She obviously doesn't really understand what's going on, but you know, these sites are going to be around for like 15, 20 years. So I question that on a daily basis. But this site's going to be around 15 to 20 years, and she's going to drive through that maybe one day herself and say, you know, Granddad set this up and I was the first to use it, sort of thing. She might even get into traffic signals herself. You never know. We also had schools visit new sites to learn about all the flashing lights in the controller and everything like that, and some of them seemed quite interested. And as a result of the guaranteed workload resulting from TSOG investment, our contractor SWACO were able to take on an apprentice and develop the skills of other personnel within SWACO to help us deliver the TSOG programme. This is huge for our industry, as it is well known that we are an ageing workforce, not me because I'm only 26, with not many young people coming into the industry. Last one, I promise. So this was done in one take as well. This is how professional we are. Look at that. Right? We hope that we have shown and demonstrated that targeted investment in the latest technology to improve the performance of existing and new traffic signals infrastructure can realise significant long-term and sustainable benefits, proving that we don't necessarily need to invest in hard engineering to achieve our traffic and transportation objectives. These sites should be good for the next 20 to 25 years. What a legacy to leave. Thank you.